What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Shooters Gotta Shoot. I am your host, Erica Spera. And as you can see, if you are watching the show, I am not in my usual location. I am in my friend's bedroom. So, sup, Jordan? Hope you don't mind. Don't worry, I blocked it. You can't really see anything. Okay. I did have an episode for this week. And amongst just the craziness of the week, I've been in LA and a lot has been happening in a good way. I just didn't have time, and you know what? After filming my Corden set, I just was like, I should do a genuine update of, I don't know, everything that went down, things like that. Especially because if you've been listening to the show, you know I've been shifting the show to be a little less dating focused and more of a comedy podcast. And it goes very hand in hand with this show because if you are a day one listener, you know that I essentially came out on this podcast about having herpes 3 years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago. So doing the late night set, having it, feature the podcast also just went very hand in hand, kind of on a full circle moment for myself of doing the late night, promoting shooters, and not only that, but having my material about having herpes finally be out there publicly to the world in a different way other than this podcast. Because upon doing the show and doing those jokes, there are many, many people who, even though I've been talking about this for like years and years and years, many, many people still did not know. And so upon watching that set, I almost feel like this really was the kind of even more real coming out moment for me about having it, particularly for, all those people from walks of life that knew you from so long ago that, have really never tuned into anything that you're doing until, of course, you get something that's, a big accomplishment, and then suddenly they're tuning in and finding out a lot about your girl. So I just want to say, first of all, I got a lot of very, very nice messages from listeners of this show, fans of this show, and also people throughout those walks of life that I didn't sit around being like, oh, I bet they're going to be really cool about herpes. And I am doing my best to respond to everybody and send a genuine thank you, because it really, really does mean a lot. But if I have not answered your message yet, just please be patient, okay? I've had a busy time out here in a good way. And I just want to say I do really appreciate it. And it's also hilarious to see my parents, sharing this on Facebook, and like essentially their friends in that generation wasn't one that I'd think would be, I guess, very accepting of it. And it's funny to see people like in the comments being like, man, that herpes joke really made me laugh. That one line, hilarious. Like they're quoting herpes lines in comments. And I'll be honest, it feels good. It feels really good to just be like, yeah, get on board, everybody, because it's not a big deal. And I'm happy to kind of see it go over well. Obviously, I'm sure there's plenty of negative shit talking happening, and whoever's group chat that, played softball with me and, when I was 12 or some shit, or, other college teammates. Of course, there was a group text from some of my college teammates congratulating me. And then, of course, there's, I'm sure, other group texts of people being like, wow, Erica's life's really gone downhill, huh? Can't believe she's yelling about herpes on TV. So, but overall, very, very happy to, I guess, finally have a moment for myself, and very much am trying to just enjoy it and celebrate it. And yeah, I guess I'll just recap the taping. So I came out to LA, and I had to, take some days off from my day job with flying out here and filming the set. But of course I was supposed to work a few days that week. So took off Monday, flew out. Tuesday, I get a message Monday night or whatever being like, oh, do you have time to hop on a call, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, well, I'm off today. They're like, oh, no, tomorrow. I said, okay. Essentially, I'm 3 hours behind, so it's pretty much like I wake up, have a little breakfast, go for a walk, log on to do my work for the day, and do my meeting. And upon entering the meeting, I see I had access to my boss's calendar because I was his assistant, and I see all these like little half-hour meetings, and they're also private, and I can't see what they say. And as someone that has full access to a calendar, I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. So I enter the meeting. It's, brief chat up top. How's LA, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not only my boss, it's also the CFO. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I think this is a layoff situation. And I was right. So the day before my taping, I got up and started my day with, well, there's no easy way to say this, but we have to do a round of layoffs due to the economy, due to, funding, the future. I was working at a tech place during the day, and your girl was in the round of layoffs. And to be honest, I wasn't surprised. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not like bringing in revenue. We're very, very small. And weirdly during that convo, I just kind of felt like calm, just like, all right, well, I'll deal with this later. What am I going to do about this now? Or weirdly, it's like, well, I'm in LA for the week, so guess I don't have to work these other days. And to which some people were like, I can't believe they would lay you off, the day before you're taping. And it's like, all right, well, first of all, it was the 15th of the month. So how paydays work, it's the 15th and, end of the month, 30th, 31st. So it's like, well, from that standpoint, makes sense. Like when you make that call, it's gonna get cut right on that payday, and also that's just how life is. What are you gonna do? What are they gonna lay off, 4 people and be like, well, we'll wait till the day after her taping to hit her up and be like, by the way, I hope you didn't spend a lot of money out there because you only got another paycheck coming or whatnot. So just, I don't know. I honestly kind of laughed, and I weirdly not laughed during the meeting. But truly, I have no ill will towards these people. I have, become friends with them, become close with them. It's life. What are you going to do? And also, I'm fortunate that it's like I have a real passion, this, doing comedy, whatever, is my real love in life. So it's kind of like, day job, as much as I liked it, as much as it's nice to have that security, to have health insurance, to have some steady income. It's one of those things that I look at it and I was like, well, I was going to eventually leave this sometime. And I have always been toying with this moving to LA idea. And if anything, I kind of asked the universe / God / astrology / whatever anybody believes in to send me some kind of sign. And I've gotten some other little signs, but this one felt like a big one of like, okay, this is something you don't have to navigate anymore of when should I leave this job? The universe was like, you're going to leave it now. You're going to leave it now, sister. Today. Today's the day that you're out. You're gone. We're done. And yeah, I've grown to love the people at this place. It's not a huge company, so I cared about these people, and I do hope they succeed. I know how tough the startup life is, I was grinding it out too there, trying to help them get where we can go, and I do believe they're going to be successful. And I think this kind of just opened a door that I could make that move sooner, and that it's kind of one less thing I have to deal with in a way. So that being said, my lease is up end of April. I'm going to put it out there to the universe this way. Hey, anybody know anyone looking for a studio in Manhattan? The financial district, very convenient to get everywhere. Hit your girl up. DM your girl. Let me know. Let me know if you are looking or know someone that's looking, because I think I got to get someone to take it over just from an income standpoint. I can't really afford it at the moment. Yeah, I'll put that out to the universe. And also, those of you that are on the Patreon here supporting the show, I mean, now more than ever, truly thank you, because I really, really need the extra cash to be using the studio that I'm using, and keep up with the Shooters Gotta Shoot podcast. So, hey, if you want to join that, it's patreon.com/shooters gotta shoot. We got a $3 tier, $5 tier, $10. There might even be a $20. You really want to be a high roller. But you could do, even if you just join, you go, hey, let me give you $10 for the month, join, pay it, cancel it. Anything would be really appreciated right now. And if you want to join a Patreon that you get extra episodes of behind the scenes of life, what's going on with me, you can join the Finding Mr. Hype Patreon. And that one, I'm doing an extra episode every week. But hey, I might change that over here. Maybe I'll add one on for Shooters, because now I got time, baby. Now I got some time, which I am weirdly looking forward to, being able to just focus on comedy stuff for a month or two. See if I can, use this James Corden credit to help get some momentum, get things moving, maybe get some more gigs and whatnot. So, hey, you also want to let me know what city you're in, where you want to see me come do some stand-up, also would be appreciated. So, also, I just appreciate you guys listening and tuning into the show. Especially, I've never done a public solo episode. I got into the hang of it on the Patreon when Molly left. I was just doing those solo. So, hey, maybe we'll switch the vibe here. I do a solo one every once in a while, if that's what you guys want. As always, love to hear any feedback. You're the fans. You're the ones listening, watching, if you're watching. Yeah, love to hear what you guys want. But I do have a couple guests coming up that are going to be some great guests, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy having them on the show. So, yeah, the taping day comes. I feel good. I have my homie Karina, who is originally from Palm Springs, drove out to LA to join me for the day and the taping, and my best friend from childhood, Jordan. Funny, I have two Jordans that are besties of mine. I got comedian Jordan, Jay Fisher, and I got Jordan Walker, my homie from, God, I don't know, I think I met her like third grade. She was my, AAU basketball friend, travel ball. I really grew up with Jordan and spent so much time with her. And honestly, some of like the best years of my life are with Jordan, that it really meant a lot that she was able to come. And my friend Karina, I also love so much. Damn, she's gonna hear that and be like, well, just a Palm Springs shout out for me. No, Karina, we also have a very close relationship. She was one of my good homies in New York that really was there for me. Excuse me. Damn. I didn't think I'd get choked up at this part. Thought I'd do pretty good. Sorry. Essentially, when I was diagnosed with herpes, Karina was a very, very good friend that was there for me during a lot of that. So I really love her and appreciate her. So it was really, really great to have both of them there. And funny that, wow, this emotion literally didn't hit me at all that day or the past couple days. It truly was like such a fun time having them to just hang with and like be around, which, any comedians listening, if you ever do some type of taping, a good piece of advice, and I remember getting this just for like before shows, was like, if you have that day that you're like by yourself a lot of the day, you should like a little bit before your show, like have a slight conversation with somebody just to like speak out loud as part of it, but also like, I don't know, just a human interaction you need. But man, with something like this, I really truly did not feel nervous that day. Like, and I think it partly was because like I just had my friend Karina, we're like chatting. I went to get my hair done by my homegirl Kelsey, fan of the show. Definitely look her up. If you're ever in LA, need any hair stuff, go to her. She's great. That it's like, I had a day kind of filled with people like chatting, hanging out, like it was, I don't know, like a chill regular day. Maybe this is why people really have bridesmaids and shit at their wedding. It's just having people around to like converse with makes you not freak out about like, oh, I'm making a forever decision today. Oh, this is something that's going to be forever, Like for me, I'm like, oh, it's going to be on the internet forever. And so if it doesn't go well, I don't want to have a Judd Apatow set or whatever, which they took that down. That's how bad it was. That's crazy. You could still find it somewhere. It's probably on Reddit. I don't know how Reddit works, but I think it's on there. Anyway, but that's my advice if you ever have to do something like this, is you got to have somebody around that you love talking to, or it's just that easy to hang with person that you have in your life. And I had my good homie, Steve Fury, who I've had on the pod. If you haven't checked out that episode, very, very fun very funny, great comic in LA. And so it was kind of a beautiful balance of life. It was like someone from the comedy world was there with me, who's a fun homie to hang with, childhood best friend, and an adult very close friend of mine from my years in New York. So I was getting ready with my girls. We go to the studio. My buddy Steve met us there. I got my makeup done by somebody. She was also chatty in a good way. And I forget her name. Sorry, I'm blanking. I put it all on the post. It's on the Instagram post, right? I gave people their credit. All right. I'm doing what I can. Trying to get them some free press here. Yeah, we arrive. The whole staff of this Corden set is like unreal, nice, accommodating, calm. And it's funny that you're like from New York. You're like, I mean, is this just like that LA energy everyone talks about, or is this like this is just this show, right? I don't know. I haven't done a million of them. I don't have another one to compare to, but it seems calm in a good way, which also helped me feel calm and at ease. And you got your little green room, hanging out, and I really don't feel nervous. Honestly, the only thing I was feeling nervous about was, as someone who, if you're watching this video, you can see, or you watch them anyway. I'm not a big makeup wearing person. So you get your makeup done professionally, and you tell them it's for a TV taping, so it's going to be a lot of lights and very easy to essentially look like washed out. So I have on probably the most makeup I've ever worn, really, in my life, possibly for something. That like immediately I'm like, this feels like way too much. Like I'm like, are the lips too dark? Are the cheeks too dark? But the other part of you is like, trust the makeup person. Okay, they're a professional makeup person. They know what it's like to film on TV and have things more than you, Erica. Trust the makeup person, right? And so when you get there too, you get to do a screen test. And so to my friends, I was like, please, for the love of God, take some photos, look at whatever screen, like, and be honest with me of like, is this shit too heavy? Like I had fake lashes on, which I kind of was fighting not doing that. I was like, I really never wear those, but it's like, oh, TV, it's all about depth, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, all right, fine. Then watching the video, I'll be honest, to me, it still looked a little too heavy. Then suddenly on the video, I was like, oh, my cheeks looked heavy. I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm just going to say it probably turned out better than if I did it myself and tried to tackle that. You know what I'm saying? And they have a makeup team there. Like they say, come, hair and makeup ready. And then there's a makeup team there. So I ran it by them too, to be like, this good? This too much? Be real with me. I was like, don't worry about my feelings right now. I'm about to tape this thing. And also in my head, I'm like, I'm also about to tell everyone I have herpes. So like, I would like to look good doing that. You know what I mean? I'd like that on my side. I don't need people coming at me in the comments, because I mean, they're going to come at you anyway. You're like, I'm just doing my best of what it looks like. I do my on-screen test. Everyone's like, no, it looks great. Really, it's meant for under the lights. Like it still looks like a lot when you're by yourself, but don't worry about it. So I'm like, all right. And, I had some great stage moms to help take pics, all that stuff. We're hanging out in the green room. And essentially now it's just the waiting time. You get there 4:30. The taping of the whole, show for that night doesn't start till 6. And the comic is at the end. You're always at the end. So we're in the green room, hanging out, talking, whatever. My friends are having some drinks. They're having a good time. I don't drink before I go on stage. So I was just chilling. And truly, I did not feel nerves. And I kept being like, I feel like I'm going to suddenly get hit with nerves out of fucking nowhere. And it's going to be at a bad time. That I was like, please just let's not have that happen. As we're talking, the door's like kind of open to your green room. All of a sudden, James Corden just like knocks and just pops in. He's like, hey, how are you? And you're like, oh my God, it's you. Hi. And I stood up. I, shook his hand. Hello. Everybody else said hello. And he talked to us for a while. And just, look, I know there's some press right now out about James Corden. Okay, I know some shit has gone down in New York City of him and some waitstaff and whatnot. But I gotta say, one of the nicest people I've met. Yeah. Not hate to say it. That's my experience. So nice. Talked to me for a while. Was like, oh, where are you from? Blah, blah. And, I even came up of just like, where do you live? I was like, I'm based in New York. I was like, but I am planning on coming to LA. I'm just trying to figure out when. And he was like, he he was very like, you should do it. You should definitely do it. Get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Also, you've been in New York a long time. You could always go back. You're from, upstate. He was like, listen, this town can be great. It has a lot of opportunity, has a lot of stuff. He said, and I'm gonna just make an assessment off meeting you and your vibe and your energy. And he looks at me and he goes, I'm gonna give you 27 months. After 27 months, you're gonna be like, okay, I did what I needed to do here, and I'm gonna go back home to East Coast, New York, whatever. But he was like, that's the thing about LA, and you could tell as he's saying it, it's like, oh, he's hit his quote 27 months. Obviously, it's much longer than that. But you could tell he just was like, yeah, you hit a point. You're like, okay, I did it. I've got it. And I asked him, I was like, so, what's your plan? I was like, the show's ending in April. Are you staying in LA? What are you guys thinking? And I thought he might be like, oh, we're gonna go East Coast now or something. And he essentially said his son, his oldest son, is like about to finish like middle school, and he said, my wife and I basically were like, okay, once he finishes that chunk of school, if we're gonna move, like that's the time to move. But like this kid's 14 now, that it's like we're not moving this kid and moving him again. He's already done a lot of that. And so he was like, we've decided we're going back home to London. We have family there. People are getting older. We want to be near there and have more of our home base there, which was very interesting and also, heartfelt to hear. He's like, he'll be there to finish his school. The rest of our kids, like that's going to be our permanent home, and I'm not moving my permanent home. And especially like, hey, this man's grown his career so well and so high up now. It's like, yeah, he's in movies now. So it's like, yeah, you come back, film your movie you got to be in, film whatever episodes of a TV show if you're in that. Even like whatever, if he wants to like just make his own YouTube channel, do sketches. Like this man has the dream of a lot of celebrities of like, once people know who you are, you get to really have your pick of what projects do you want to do and really enjoy your life. So you know what? Props to him. And I will say this on the whole whatever controversy is happening, okay? With him being, rude to his servers, essentially what I've seen. Look, you watch these tapings. First of all, the one I did, he does 2 in that day. He does 2 on Wednesdays typically, which is, God bless him, honestly. But these tapings, like this man has to be the high energy, you're the host. You're this friendly host. You have to be happy-go-lucky, funny, on the ball, even just like between the takes, the cues, the how much he has it down and how much of a pro he is. And I've been fortunate enough to watch not only James Corden, but I actually watched Leno when I interned in LA one summer, and I went to a Jay Leno taping of The Tonight Show. Watching him do it, I've seen a taping of Seth Meyers, watching Seth Meyers do it, watching Jimmy Fallon do it on The Tonight Show. I got to see when Taylor did her taping. It's like you watch these people, and as someone who doesn't naturally have that like happy-go-lucky host energy, I look at them and I'm like, I don't think I could do this. I don't think I could do this every day for how many years that they've done it. That it's like, yeah, stories you hear, it's whatever story people heard about Corden recently, or like the stories that all came out about Ellen. Honestly, when you watch that taping and stuff, you're like, yeah, I'd probably freak out on somebody too. To be honest, I probably would. Okay, I'm not saying that it's right to do that. I'm not saying it's not rude to do that or whatever. But like, hey, the man apologized, and also I'm like, yeah, he probably had a long fucking day, and just you're a celebrity. You get bothered all the time by people, and also it's like, yeah, sometimes your tank's on E. We've all had an interaction with someone where we went, I wasn't on my best behavior there. I wasn't being super accommodating or super sweet or super blah, blah, blah. Like, that was me being a little bit rude or a little bit testy or a little bit, attitude. Like, even just with your own parents. You know what I mean? Like, that I'm just like, shit happens. What are you going to do? I watched him do those tapings, even just like how accommodating he was and welcoming to me, my friends, the whole staff. Even afterwards of the taping, he was like hanging out. He changed to like a chill sweatsuit. Fucking Adidas tracksuit, chilling on the couch with where the open bar is, like hanging out, talking to his producers and other people. Like, just, I was like, I don't think he's a bad guy. All right, you have your opinion on him. I don't. And does it have something to do with I did a show? Yeah, it does. Yeah, of course it does. But more importantly, I met the man. And I was like, oh yeah, you got to do this with everybody. You got to do this with strangers like me that you don't know. You've truly no idea who I am. And I feel so welcomed and so at ease. And I watch you tape this thing and you crush it. I mean, good for him. Honestly, good for him. I give him credit. But yeah, I got some great advice from my buddy Orlando, who's actually going to be the next episode next week. I was already planning on doing this, but he was like, okay, when it comes to that time, it's like going to be like 15 minutes before you actually go up and film your set. Have your people like out of the room that you're in. Have like moments alone by yourself. He told me to have my set like typed out, which you do because you have to submit a transcript. So I have, my bullets of each joke that was a bullet of whatever title, my transcript. He was like, look over it. Just really look over those like first couple lines you're going to say. Because that's always, you're tense a little bit in any stand-up set, TV or not. But like, that's the part I'm always the most nervous for, is like, not nervous for, but just like the beginning. Because you're like, you need a joke to hit. You need something to hit that the audience is like, they're funny. And then everyone's on your side. And a lot of times too, New York crowds, they want that joke to hit fucking quick. And even these late night sets, they want it to hit kind of quick, something, right? A fun announcement. I mean, that's why I started with like, I recently turned 30, which you listen to the show, you're like, you're 31, bitch. It's like, listen, it was a long process to get this tape approved. Whatever, leave me alone. I know I'm 31. I'm not trying to hide my age. All right, let me just be 30. Okay, it's a fun announcement. If I say I just turned 31, everyone's like, so? Give me a little, gotta get that crowd on my side. But yeah, great advice that I was planning on doing. I did it. I told them, I was like, I'll have a moment where I just need to chill here till I gotta go up there. I look over my stuff, I'm like, boom, boom, boom. I'm still like, it really hasn't hit me yet, all day. People are like, how's it feel? How you feeling? I was like, I don't know. It doesn't feel real, honestly. It doesn't feel real at all. It's like, and I don't know if that's just a thing of like, I've been doing stand-up for 9 years, that it's like, I just don't get those jitters anymore, or I don't know. Was it confidence? Was I just delusional that day? I have no idea. But also, I've been very run down in general, which is partly why I'm a little relieved to not have a day job at the moment. That I was like, I think I'm just kind of running on E. I'm just so tired that I'm like, yeah, screw it. I'll do it. Like I was wide awake at 7 a.m. that morning. So it's like, it's a long day. The hair, the makeup, I don't even know what else I did. Everything. So I'm still like, all right, I feel just fine. I feel good. Also hilarious of when I did the little, God, what's it called? Not sound check, whatever, the taping check, the visual. That like, they were like, okay, and then what's the last line you're going to say? And in my head, I'm like, my herpes is upstairs sleeping. And you got this like whole staff of people like looking at you. And I was like, and I just kind of start laughing, and the stand-up booker is laughing because it's like, well, he knows I'm ending with herpes material. And I was like, do you need the exact line, or like and they were like, oh, well, will you probably be like, thank you so much or something? I go, yeah. I go, of course, I will for sure do that. Where I'll say that's it for me. Thank you so much. I'm Erica Spera, something like that. But they were like, we just need a cue for James for when he walks over to you. I was like, yeah, I will say a thank you. Trust me, I will gladly say a thank you. How funny was I was just like, oh, when I say my herpes is upstairs, you need me to write that down? Need me to write that down for you? I'll say that. But which, by the way, I've never really done this recording like on a computer with a thing that I can see my face, that I'm a little like, should I be looking directly at this camera? What? Maybe it's more engaging. I don't fucking know. But yeah, then all of a sudden it's like, it's time. They grab you. And my friends got to like walk with me because they took them to like 2 seats in the audience. So we're walking. There's the part we veer off. I'm already laved up. I got my lav mic on my dress, and then there's some guy like standing there waiting to just hand me the real mic. I'm like, okay. And I stand behind this closed curtain, my little marker, and you got to walk out to the other marker, whatever. I'm like, okay. And I'm standing there, and I'm still like, I felt just like energetic, but I really didn't feel like super nerves. But I'll do this thing of when I used to like get nervous before stage, if I ever have like nerves, or I would call it adrenaline. Okay, let's put a positive spin. Adrenaline. I would get like, you get this like slight little shake in your hand. And as someone who like talks to your hand, or even just the fact that like the audience can see your hands, it's like, if they could see a shake, they will know you're nervous, and it's like that. There's no worse thing in comedy than the audience like thinking you're uncomfortable and thinking you're nervous, and especially when you're like, let me talk about herpes and watch my hand shake. So my hand wasn't really shaking, but I learned this trick of if you ever feel that like adrenaline, anxiety, whatever, like energy, to do I read it was like to do like jumping jacks to like just get your blood flowing and get it like almost gets that, I don't know, energy to disperse or the shakes to stop, but it helps get it gets the shakes to stop. I've done this before. So, but for me, it's like I didn't do full jumping jacks. I just jumped up and down a couple times, shook out my arms. I was like, okay, all right, roll your shoulders back, stand up straight, head up, all that stuff. And I'm holding the mic in my hand, and all of a sudden, my hand just feels sweaty, and it's like a big mic. It's kind of heavy, and I'm like, oh god, my hand feels slippery. And so then I like put it in my other hand. I like take it. I'm like trying to like wipe it kind of on my leg or my tights, but I'm like, I don't want to wipe it on my dress. It's a color dress. I walk out, I have a sweaty hand mark, right? And then I'm like, oh, maybe this curtain is fabric. I touched the curtain like with my hand, and it's like a silk thin curtain. And then I was like, oh my god, Erica, what if you rip the curtain down? Like, what do you do? Like, and so this was the only moment I had to freak out. But I was like, my dress is short. Okay, I'm a tall gal, so they're already naturally short on me. And I was like, okay. I was like, you just don't drop the mic. Like literally I'm behind the curtain waiting for it to open. I'm hearing James being like, hey everybody, the next thing is going to be like a stand-up comic. It's really hard. I'll give a speech in a minute, but I'm just like, just hold this mic. Don't drop this mic, because if you drop this mic, Erica, I was like, I'm in a heel and I'm in a short dress. I cannot pick it up. I will literally look at the band like, can you get that? Hey camera guy, can you get like, I was like, don't drop the fucking mic. That was like the thing I said to myself right before I walked out. I was like, just hold that mic, keep it together. So I'm behind the curtain, and I'm like, okay, I do like a couple jumps. I'm holding this mic. I hear James being like, okay, the next person coming out is a stand-up comedian. It's their first time doing a television taping like this. So please be as supportive as you can. Know that, and he was like, know that this is not the ideal environment for a stand-up comic, which, thank you. Fucking nailed it. Appreciate that disclosure, because important. He literally was like, yeah, no one's had a drink in this crowd. It's still the daytime. Like, you guys aren't really in party mode. So he was just like, just please give your best attention. If it's funny, laugh, clap if you want, whatever. Very, very nice intro thing. And then I hear them say, okay, give a countdown. And it's like the clapping, the rolling on the camera. Is like, okay, our next guest, stand-up comedian, Erica Spera, da-da-da-da. He said shooter's gonna shoot. Which, listen, the man's not from here. Doesn't know the slang. All right? And, you hear that, and I'm just waiting for the curtain to open and walk out. Curtain opens, I walk out. And truly, I felt just calm. I felt fine. I felt calm. In my head, I was being like, smile, but then at the same time, you're like, all right, well, some of these punchlines don't work if you're just like smiling the whole time. Use your face. It's a weird thing to think, but I was like, use your face. Make your facial expressions. You've done these jokes a million times. They work. They work. That was the thing I was saying to myself. I was like, the jokes are good. They work. They're gonna work. You just got to sell confidence. I was like, you just be confident out there. And that's the number one thing. You have to be confident. You have to look at ease, which obviously not easy to tell yourself to do. But that's all I said. I was like, the jokes work. Do them. Perform them. Because a lot of times with comedy, for years and years and years, you're just worried about being funny. Are these jokes funny? Are they funny? And then the longer you do stand-up, the more you're like, oh, this is a performance. Like, you kind of forget, like, there's a performance aspect to this. People are watching me. They could see me. And now with video and taping sets, it's like, oh, it's very apparent when you're like, this is funny, but it could be 10 times funnier if I just put a little oomph in it, put a little bit of performance into it, right? But you got to stay natural to yourself, and I'm not a crazy high-energy person. So I do the jokes. The first one, like, pretty good hit. The next one hits, and I'm just like, as long as these all hit, I'm good. But to be honest, in it and taping it, I was like, I feel like they're clapping more than they're laughing. And I literally like said something to Taylor about it. She was like, how'd it go? And I was like, it just feels, and she said, well, she goes, that's a TV set crowd. She's like, it really isn't the ideal crowd to do stand-up. She's like, it's fun to get. It's great to have the credit. She's like, but actually taping it isn't necessarily the best feeling, right? It doesn't necessarily feel great. And especially with the clapping, it's like getting an applause break is a compliment as a comedian, right? However, with some of the jokes, you're like, oh, that's just like punchline number one. I have a couple more tags coming. And if they really clap and you let that applause break hit, there were a couple tags I just skipped. I was just like, I can't, they think the joke's done. And that was something that it was like, I guess I lost a little confidence in, of like, I was like, I don't know if these will hit. And you don't want to lower the momentum of everything being funny and whatnot. And then you're just like stepping on the claps, stepping on the laughs, or stepping on any of the set. Because that also can look like a rookie move. Unless the next things you say murder even harder, it's just whatever. So I was only in my head about, actually with my first herpes joke, there were a couple tags. And if you watch the set, I do the one, it hits really hard. And I kind of do the next tag. And I could tell they're either not listening or it's not like hitting. And I just moved on to the second half of my herpes joke. I was just like, keep it moving, keep it tight. This set is about being tight jokes. Give a clear punchline, whatever. But honestly, during filming it, I just was like, I feel I did good. I was like, I felt it was good. Everything hit. Specifically, the herpes jokes were the ones I wanted to hit the most. I was like, it all hit. But I just was like, man, they were really clapping. I couldn't really hear the laughs. But also, there's like 3 cameras basically in front of you, kind of also in front of the audience. So there's a gap in how close you are. And when you typically do stand-up, the crowd is like right there. They're like right in your pocket in those real good shows. They're like those intimate shows. So I was like, I come off stage and I'm just like, honestly, weirdly, just relieved. Like everyone's like, oh my God, how was it? What was it? It looks awesome. It looks so fun. And I was like, I truly just felt relieved. And when it was done, I was like, we did it. We did it. It went well enough, because obviously I'm not going to see it for like another day and a half. So I just was like, it went well. It went well. Everything hit. And I walked away being like, I think it was good. I don't think it was great, amazing, so killer. But I was like, I think it was good. I'm proud of it. I was like, it worked. It worked. It all worked. It was tight. And I essentially tackled the biggest challenge I gave myself, which was essentially doing very vulnerable and personal material on TV and trusting myself to, 1, not choke in doing them, but 2, the confidence of it hitting. And so that I would like to thank literally anybody who's ever booked me to perform at the club, show, have me open for them, shows I've done with Taylor, shows I've done with Jared Freed, I did some shows with Carmen Lynch in Michigan. Like, all these comics have been very, very good to me and helping me with stage time like that really, really means a lot, especially when you work the road. That's like a true test of like, I could be in liberal, super liberal, New York City, Brooklyn-y shows, but if those are the only shows I'm doing, when you do something like a TV set that you're like, this is a James Corden set. I don't know where this crowd is from. There are probably a bunch of different tourists that are visiting LA from all over the city. A true gamble. A true gamble of like, well, we'll see. We'll see. And I don't mean that in a bad way. But it's just, I'm very thankful for the opportunities I've had working a bunch of different areas and being able to try that material really, really helped me with doing the late night set. And then, of course, obviously, all the people that helped me get put up to run the set specifically, huge help. And I feel just very thankful. I feel very grateful. I feel very touched of all the messages I got, and especially some messages I got from comedians that I look at and I'm like, they're ahead of me career-wise, of either like following or just experience, or just, they work the cellar and I don't, and things like that. And messages from people were really, really nice and really, really touching. That being said, yeah, you can't live by the compliments because you'll die by the criticism, blah, 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 blah. But it's nice to have a win. That's what I'm trying to say. It's nice to have a win, to do this a long time, to do this show for a few years. And essentially because of this show, it made me comfortable enough talking about having herpes and my experiences with it, that then have translated, I think, to my comedy, and have upped my comedy another level of really talking about things that really matter or are important to me. Yeah, I don't fully know how to wrap this up, but it just feels good. I'm featuring the video on the YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, it should be right on my channel. But you could just search Erica James Corden. You want to watch it, you want to share it, whatever. But the next step of the game is going to be the clips, baby. I got to cut those clips. I got to put my material out there. And a very hard part about that is like, I obviously have jokes that are about like sex, dating, whatever, even some dark jokes I have. That it's hard to post those things and not think about like, the three people you're like, I just don't really want these people to see it, especially when it's like family and things like that. But I was also very touched that my family was very supportive and very for it and sharing it and writing nice things afterwards. My parents called me the next day. I was running around doing some podcasts and stuff, and so I didn't answer, but they left me a very nice voicemail being like, "Hey, I hope you aren't worried about us and the material you were doing," and specifically my dad, because he never really like talks about that stuff directly to me, that it was really really nice that he just was very like, "Hey, we are so proud of you, and it really took balls for what you did, and it meant a lot." So uh very happy they're on board, because there was very soon after the podcast came out, I did this show in my hometown, and I did this one joke that referenced a blowjob. And it literally, the joke, actually, the gist of the joke, the premise was me saying, I'm not that good at sex. Like being like, I don't think I'm this like amazing, person in bed, whatever. I don't think I'm a wild time, was what I was saying. Like literally the line was, I will blow you, but I'm not gonna blow your mind. I know my lane, right? So I do that joke in my hometown, and rightfully so. It's my hometown. My parents are there. Their friends are there. By the way, the joke crushed. Can I just say that the joke crushed? Okay, it fucking murdered. All right, it's a good joke, but I get it. I get it. The setting of it. They obviously did not want me to do that. So after that, I remember getting a call from them. Well, I remember right after they were like clearly upset, but it's this like, there's people around, can't really be upset. I got a call from them like a week or two later where they're like, do you have a minute to talk? I'm like, yeah. And essentially, my parents kind of gave me this talk being like, we were really hurt that you did that in front of our hometown, blah, blah, blah. And I did kind of stand my ground a little. I was like, listen, I didn't mean to do that joke. Honestly, it's like, it's hard enough performing. It just kind of happened. I started the joke. I don't want to bomb on my own show in front of all these people, right? And I remember at the time saying, I'm 27. I was like, I'm like almost 30. Like, I am an adult. I do have sex. And also, I was like, I mean, I have herpes. I'm going to eventually have material about that. I remember saying that to them, but it's a whirlwind for them. I didn't tell them I had this thing for like what, 3 years that I had it. I was like very in the dark about it. Didn't share it with them. Not that I have to, but it's like, I get it. Of like, I came out about this herpes thing. I also was like, not only am I coming out about it to you, I'm just going to come out and be public about it, and I'm going to talk about it and like deal with it. Was kind of my attitude. I didn't like ask them permission. Again, I don't have to. But I get it. Their world was rocked a little bit. They're a little worried of like, my mom was like, oh, what if, so you mean a nice guy, but like, you're here talking about herpes and stuff, like he might not want to date you. And I was like, men don't want to date me for many fucking reasons. All right. There are plenty of reasons someone doesn't want to date me. I'm also very tall, and that's unattractive to some people. And the other people, it is very attractive. But I was just like, I think this is going to help more people than it hurts. And I do think overall, and also just from my own experience of disclosing to partners, as the years go by, I find people are more knowledgeable of it, more open minded to it. And yeah, I was like, nah, I want to do it. I was like, guess what? I already don't have a boyfriend. I've already not had a boyfriend for X amount of years. I don't care. If I end up being alone by myself, would I rather have a life that I lived doing what I thought would get me a boyfriend, or would I rather have a life I lived like I was doing what I wanted to do? Because if at the end of the day I'm going to end up alone, well, then guess what? I'll do what I want to fucking do. And I'll be happy, and I'll be successful, and I'll just work my ass off. And I think the right person would think what I do is cool. I think they would think it was, I mean, I hate to say the word brave, but brave. They'd be like, I'm fucking, you know what? That's ballsy. It's fucking cool. Good for you. Like, damn, you're really someone that's like, I want to do something. I'm going to go out and do it. I'm going to put myself out there. And, to quote Samantha Jones from Sex and the City, hey, if I worried about what every bitch said about me, I would never leave the house. And bitch, I mean person. When anyone thought of me, anyone thinks of me, it's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to try to please all these people? Because they're not going to please everybody. You want to know how I know that? I don't like a lot of people. There's a lot of people I don't fucking like. And some of them for good reason. Some of them for really no reason at all. And even, I don't know, in those last couple of years, I've had a couple friends suddenly not be friends anymore. Some I was like, I don't want to be friends with this person anymore. I'm gonna cut this off. And I've had some people get mad at me and cut me off. And you know what? Do it then. If that's what you want to do, if there's people in your life you don't want to be around, you don't want to talk to anymore, fucking cut it. Let me tell you, it's freeing. Do it. But anyway, I have that call with my parents. They're upset, and my dad kind of gave me this speech about comedy where he was like, hey, you started comedy. He's like, you really wanted to be like a Brian Regan and a Jerry Seinfeld and a Jim Gaffigan of essentially being clean. And I was clean in my comedy for 5 years. And then I kind of just hit a wall writing wise. So I was like, okay, let me write about other stuff. And I barely did jokes about dating. And it's funny that like now my act is majority talking about dating, relationships. And it's because it's like, yeah, also because I've changed as a person. And when I was 22, 23, 24, I really wasn't dating. I really wasn't trying to date. I downloaded a dating app here and there, but I was like, I was so focused on comedy and so just in that mode of like, hey, it'll happen if it happens. Hey, I'll meet someone while I'm running around doing my thing. Like I'm out all the time. I'm social, all this stuff, right? And the thing is like, yeah, I did end up meeting people and having these little tiny relationships around the way or whatever. Even say situationships. I don't give a fuck. But because the whole time I was like, I'm focused on me. I'm 25. I'm like, I'm not trying to get married. Who cares? But it's like, yeah, now at this point in my life, I am really trying to put myself out there and date and meet someone because I would like someone to really enjoy my life with and spend my life with. And that's also why it was so nice to have people that were like genuinely close to me to share that moment with, because moments like filming the Corden set and like success things like that, like even like I opened for Patton Oswalt in Boston, and that's like not far from New York. I get a cool hotel. I get to do this cool show. Boston's a fun city. I remember getting that gig and like, but then I was like by myself all day, waiting to do the show. I do the show and I had some friends come to the show, so I got to like hang out with people after. But like that was weirdly a moment I was like, man, this is something that would be nice to like have a partner, and I get this thing and they get to come and do it with me and celebrate with me. And that was, I think, one of really the first moments of me being like, oh, I really would like to, be in a relationship. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not going to just date someone that I don't like or doesn't treat me well, et cetera, because I just want to be in a relationship. It's like I'm by myself and I'm fine by myself. So if I end up by myself, I'm okay. But of course, I've come along. Basically, this is all over the place, but essentially with my own parents and family, it's come a long way in those last couple years, and it feels really, really good that, I essentially had a successful moment that I think really, really made them be like, she knows what she's doing, or like she's making it happen, and to have them be like, no, we're really proud, and that was really brave of you and really gutsy, and like, the amount of messages they're getting from people and nice comments and stuff, and they're just like, she did it, If anything, they were more nervous than me about the damn taping, all right? I was getting text from my dad. He's like, I'm wired. I can't wait to watch it. Like, because you tape it the day before it airs, or when I did it, that's how it worked. So I got to go out after, eat some good food, all right? Because your girl's been watching her figure a little for that taping, all right? I mean, we're always trying to look good, but it's easier when you have like a clear goal of something coming up that you're like, all right, well, specifically I have this thing. And I went out, got to eat, drank with my buddies, had a night on the town, fun night, violently hungover the next day. And yeah, I just, as right now, I am really happy, regardless of the fact that I got laid off. So yeah, it feels really good, and I appreciate you all for the support, and especially the Patreon gang. Very, very much appreciate you. Always have, but especially now more than ever. Really, really appreciate you guys' support. And yeah, next week we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming. Unless you guys are like, God damn, Erica, we wanna watch you in your friend's bedroom, half crying a little bit here and there, just talking about comedy, talking about gigs. But yeah, I'm having a good time in LA, and also some big things are happening out here that really feel like a sign that I really should make the jump. So I know, but I said my last goal in New York is essentially the Comedy Cellar. That I'm like, maybe now that I have this credit, I can get that, and that'll be my cherry on top of New York. Of I did my time here. I've come a long way, but I do have a good vibe of I should make the jump, go for a change, and see what LA can bring me. So now my nose is running. Damn, this is gross. Okay. I gotta stop this. This is gonna be I was like, I'll do a little 20-minute update as a fun thing this week, and now it's an hour. Anyway, thank you all so much. Really, really appreciate it. Love you all. I know my mom's listening. Love you too. Don't be mad that I just talked about you. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you.